And hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Docs Taking on the Mormish. Welcome to Docs Clinic. You are in it. So tonight's video, we are going to talk about the fake Mormish Mopes liens that they like to file, thinking they're going to gather some funds from this and make some money. However, they are not. Let me go ahead here, and I already have our favorite of all sites, the enforcetheconstitution.org. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to look at a default judgment lien from, let me go ahead and share the screen for you guys. There we go. All right. This is the default judgment lien that they like to file. They think it's going to grant them some money. Basically, what this is to do is to clog up the courts. It's another fictitious piece of paper. It doesn't do anything for anybody. And no one has ever paid on one of these. So we're going to go through this. And then what we'll do as well is the next video I do on this, we'll talk about their fee schedule that they try to file. So let's get right into it. This one is going to come from Rockville, Maryland. It's the state of Maryland versus Mr. Lamont Maurice Butler. And if you see my first two videos, they were kind of long, but we were talking about his different paperwork and how he was trying to, basically what he did was he broke into a $5 million house. Now this house was already under contract. It was already purchased. The new owners hadn't moved in yet. So what this guy did is he filed a bunch of fictitious paperwork, the fake quitclaim deed. He said he put it on the record. Putting it on the record, none of them actually put it on the record. All they do is they get it notarized. So that honestly is not quote unquote putting it on the record, but that's how they see it. So anyways, in this, he then took it upon himself to do what they call a default judgment lien. So, and I do have this case number right here on request from the District Court of Maryland for Montgomery County. I've actually sent a letter to their county clerk asking, tell me how much it is. I want the entire case file. So that way I can read through it and see it. So let's go ahead and talk about this right here. So first thing you're going to notice in this is this right here. Okay. This is actually a true notary. Okay. All this is they're just saying, yes, this is, from what I see, this is a true copy. And then he signed. Now let's start. Okay. Now we're going to get into this Mormish Morocco crap that they like to push out there. Now I'm going to tell you right now, the country of Morocco has no ties to this. They denounce this group. Anybody that follows this group, they denounce them. So that should tell you right here. Now, here we go. Now, right here, they go Morocco, Magaherb Allah S Northwest Amexum. Look up Amexum. It's actually another Mormish or Mopes website. Again, they're trying to, what they're trying to do is different people are trying to run in and claim this. So that way they can try to put legitimacy behind this when there is no legitimacy. So here we go right here. I hereby certify that the foregoing is a full, true, correct copy of the default judgment entered on April 9th, 2021. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is this is not entered by a lawful judge at all. This is made up, and you're going to see it right here. He lists the case file number again, and truly taken and copied from the record of proceeding in the Morocco Consular Court at the state of Maryland State Republic. All of that is fake. There is no Moroccan Consular Court in the state of Maryland, and the state of Maryland is not a republic. He then goes on, in testimony whereof I have hereunto affixed the seal of the Vizier of Morocco, Consular Court. Okay, so again, I sent this stuff to the actual Moroccan embassy asking for clarification. They have no idea who these people are. They don't know where they made this seal. It's a fictitious seal. It has nothing to do with the Moroccan government at all. Then you look off to the side and there's this neat little true test copy. Well, that doesn't do anything. And then down here, now you have this interesting thing, this Adil Zakta Saeed Bey, Vizir, Moroccan Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic. Well, again, like I said, that's all fictitious. There is no Moroccan Consular Court. The country of Morocco doesn't even know who these people are. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you follow my boy True Science 151, you would know that they have not earned this title. This was a title given by the Ottoman Empire to like governors and commanders of large armies and such. So again, they have no idea what they're talking about. Excuse me. The reason why they grabbed this word Bey is because of their false prophet, Noble Drew Ali. He is a false prophet. He's a scam artist. He's no different than Anna Zeal Vaughn or whatever her name is. She's the big head cheese for the soft sits. Again, she's another con artist, a scam artist. I don't know how she gets away with what she gets away with, but her videos that she does are like 2.5 hours long, and it's mind numbing. I know I'm going off subject here, but we'll definitely have a section on her because, like I said, the Sovereign Sits and the Mopes, they play off the same playbook. The Mopes use a little bit more religion in theirs, but the Sov Sits and them play off the same playbook. So, okay, I will tell you this is really good copy and paste, building that header footer. So good on them. Again, this seal right here is a government seal from the United States. As a matter of fact, I think that's the Army's seal. They try to say this is theirs. It has something to do with the Zodiac. Again, I've watched the different documentaries on our symbols and our money and stuff, and it's fascinating. But again, I can't, if somebody wants to take it and use it, let it. I know the top part with the eye is the all-seeing eye, like the Illuminati and crap. So, but anyways, here we go. There's another this stamp, and again, you can go buy these stamps at Amazon. You can get them made at Office Depot, and so they're there. And then we go down here. Here's more false, okay? The Moorish National Republic federal government, which does not exist. And if you look, they spell government. So they're spelling it wrong. So again, they're already invalidating their own paperwork by spelling this stuff wrong. Moorish Divine and National Movement, because again, it's not a V, it's a B, of the world. Northwest of Maxim, Northwest Africa, North America, and the North Gate. Okay, so none of that applies to them. That's all fake. And then they go the Temple of the Moon and Sun, Societas Republic, Cal El Maracanus. Just more bullshit. Again, more things to get people off track and be confused. Again, they put this website here that does absolutely nothing. And they put it in the Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, what the Morocco Consular Court is in Maryland? It's a guy who literally sits in his little room, and he does fake court appearances. There's been a couple that have been debunked. There's no proof of anything. They try to play it where you get one person on the phone, you get another person you hear coming from this mic over here, the speaker over here, and they're like, oh, yeah, case is being dismissed. Well, the funny thing is they never actually went to court. So it's the same thing here. This pulled them into court, which screwed them over because, again, it proves the jurisdiction. So, all right. The counselor has this fictitious counselor has no jurisdiction or venue. Their venue is a P.O. box. So again, here we go right here. Lamont Maurice Butler L, Consul General of Morocco, which he is not. He is not a Moorish American national. He is not. He's not part of the Moroccan Empire. I honestly believe he's never left the country, so I don't think he's ever seen Northwest Africa. And then again, they're crap, proprio persona, sur juris, and solo propriana. I mean, solo PP. That's what they're in there for. And then his true name. And again, they try to play this fictitious corporate person, which is a lie. Now, if you watch my last video I did earlier today talking about Mr. Killeran, there's the same thing right here. If your name is all in caps, it's a fictitious corporate person. Not true. If you look his name up in Duns and Bradstreet, you won't find a Duns number for him. If you look his name up under a corporate name, an actual legitimate corporate name, you won't find his name anywhere. So again, that disproves a lot, because if you file for a corporation for that, it should pop up anywhere. There should literally be a site. There should be hundreds of thousands. There should be millions of people saying, hey, look, I found my name and here's the corporation and here's the trust. But you don't see any of that. You don't see any of that proof. So again, and then he puts care of P.O. Box. They all use P.O. boxes because they think they're hiding their actual address. Well, the funny thing about it is I can do a public record search on him out of Washington, D.C., and I'll get his actual physical address. So it's not hiding anything. I can go out and find it. I think I pay $21 a month for the service, and I can hunt him down. I get his full background criminal check, number of aliases, email addresses, phone numbers, bills, liens, his criminal record, everything. So, I mean, it's there to find. And then, so here's the case number. They like to put this incorporated. That doesn't mean anything. And then what they do is they try to do this default judgment. Counselor jurisdiction and venue established under treaty laws per Article 20 and 21 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. No, that's not true. This has nothing to do with maritime law. This has nothing to do with a ship, a port, or any crime you committed on that port or on that ship. So that right there is null and void. It has nothing to do with it. They like to do that. How you doing, True Science? Nice to see you here, brother. They like to use that a lot because they do not understand the true meaning of that treaty. That treaty, which is still in effect today, it is. It has nothing to do with anything that they bring up. It only has to deal with trade, ports in each of our countries, and shipping. So if, say, we're out by the Moroccan coast and one of our ships, say one of our military ships, has engine failure or is having something's wrong with it, they can call into the Moroccan port authorities because we have this treaty with them and say, hey, I'm having an issue with my propulsion system. Do we have permission to come into port? And they'll look and be like, oh, yeah, come on in. When we get in there, they're going to help us, source parts. They're going to help us provide security for our vessel. That's what that treaty is for. And the same thing for them. If they're around one of our ports and something happened to one of their ships, that's exactly what we would do. They would come in, we'd take care of them. We would render them any support we can possibly give them. That's that whole treaty, okay? And that's what that treaty deals with. They don't understand that. Somebody has literally brainwashed them thinking that that treaty means more than that. And again, and yes, at that time, the Kingdom of Morocco was an empire. They were a vast empire, but they're not anymore. Over the time, they have lost part of their empire, and now they're just a Kingdom of Morocco, and they're happy with that. And then they go to per Article 3, Section 2, and Article 6, 2 of the Constitution. Now, our Constitution does not say for, so they're looking at something they made up. Ours is the Constitution of the United States of America, not for the United States of America. So, again, they're sorting a document that we don't even use. We go through here. They think this is some sort of tracker flag for them. It's not. It does nothing for them because guess what? This paperwork is going nowhere but the trash. Okay, plain and simple. It's going to the trash. All right. So now what they're going to do is they're going to list. They're going to list out, and they see how they call him judgment creditor. He is no creditor. Trust me. His worth is zero and probably negative. So what they're going to do is they're going to start listing out all these people. And this is a pretty long list. It's like all the police officers on the police department. They name out the chief administrative clerk. They name out, let's see, they name out the state's attorney general or the state's attorney. They name out the office of the state's attorney for Montgomery County. So this is what they do. They get as many people within that organization that are high up on the totem pole, or they think's high up on the totem pole. How you doing, JT? Thanks for showing up, brother. And so they think that in doing this, they're going to scare one of these people. Okay. They honestly believe they're going to scare one of these people into be like, oh my God, I got to pay this, or oh my God, there's a lien. Now, some, because again, the county clerks, the notaries in these offices don't know that this stuff is fictitious, that holds no legality, that these people come in there and they file these liens. There's actually cases, Mr. Lamont, matter of fact, he was brought up on 27 counts of filing fraudulent liens against public officials and knowing that they were fictitious. So a lot of states are starting to enact more laws to protect their public officials from this type of stuff right here. So they know they're not going to get paid. Okay. They know this lien's really not going to do anything. What has happened, though, is because some people know right where to go, they go to the Register of Deeds, they'll file that lien. But what they think is going to happen is that person will never find out about it. Well, that's not true. When they go to try to pull equity out of their home, to take a big vacation or to do renovations, whatever it might be, well, that's going to show up. Or if they go to sell their home. So what they'll have to do is get all their paperwork together and say, no, this is my house. I don't know who this person is. Or they'll have to hire a lawyer. It'll get removed. It does take time, does take a little bit of money. But this is what we call paper terrorism. And the Mopes are really good at this, at paper terrorism. So we go down and we just look at, again, they're pulling an administrative clerk from the district court of Montgomery County. This is, again, see, they go after the low-lying people within the organization as well because they think they can get this person, they can scare them. All right. And now here's another administrative commissioner. Here's the assistant administrator. I mean, there's just a list of them. And then that's where they go from listing everybody. Now here is the thing. Again, they do that whole notice the agent is noticed, a principal knows. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. No, these are not international documents at all. If you know anything about international documents, when they come from their country of origin, are sealed. Only people that can open those is a judge in a case or another ambassador if it's going to that, the ambassador to that country. They're the only people that can open up sealed international documents. They actually come in a pouch that's locked once. It's a zipper pouch. It's locked once, and then it's folded over and locked again. And it says diplomatic paperwork on the front. That's an international document. This is not an international document. This document it's not known by the UN. I don't think any other country recognizes it. I know we don't. But again, it's not an international document as much as they want to believe it. So they're going to go right here, and this is going to be Exhibit B. And then they go, a court cannot confirm jurisdiction where none exist and cannot make a valid proceeding valid or avoid proceeding valid. So he's pulling some case from 1907, okay? And remember what I said before, they like to cherry pick this stuff. They cherry pick what they think will work and what will make individuals a little scared or confused. So again, this is nothing more than another cherry pick. Courts are constituted by authority and they cannot act beyond the power delegated to them. Well, here's the thing. The courts, depending on what type of court it is, if it's a county court, the county commissioners, the people that run the county, have delegated authority to that court and that judge. If it's a district court, well, that district in the state, whoever runs that district, has given the authority to that court. If it's a state court, such as state appellate courts, the states have their own Supreme Courts. Guess what? The state gives them the right, and they have jurisdiction throughout the whole state. When we go to the federal level, it's pretty much the same thing. There's no way they can disprove that jurisdiction because it's given to them by the will of the people as well when they vote. I vote for this judge to run the 7th Circuit Court of Boohoo County. Well, guess what? The people in that county voted for that judge. He has the right. You gotta read line. Okay, go. And so that's what that's about. So they again want to cherry pick stuff, and we go in here and it says, if a court acts without authority, its judgment and orders are regarded as nullities. They are not voidable, but simply void and form no bar to a remedy sought in opposition to them. Even prior to a reversal, they constitute no jurisdiction, and all persons concerned in executing such judgments or sentences are considered in law as trespassers. Again, cherry picked out of another case, and no, that's not true. Our courts have full jurisdiction, and you know how? If you want to prove jurisdiction, they showed up in court and filed this. So guess what, buddy? You just proved jurisdiction. You made it that easy for us. So they come through in the conclusive action and void proceedings of the misrepresented instrument, bill of attainder, foreign bill of exchange, doc number, and that's the case number, and it's not a doc number. Doc numbers or docket numbers are also case numbers, but a doc number is a number for a pier or a dock out. That's how they tell ships on large piers and large ports where to go. In the records of a private foreign de facto corporate entity, that's what they like to call our actual legitimate government and our courts, the District Court of Montgomery County, the defendant, Tracy DeSois, filed on January 25th, 2021, an unconstitutional misrepresented instrument, a bill of attainder, foreign bill of exchange, styled as an administrative warrant. No, what she did was she filed a warrant. They told her what to do. She filed the warrant. It's not de facto. It's not a foreign bill. It's a warrant for your arrest, buddy. You screwed up. Against the fictitious corporate person, non-diurnal. I'm sorry, that's your legal name. It's not a corporation. You've posted no proof, shown no proof that that's actually what that is. And again, I go back to saying millions of people would have come up and said, hey, here's my corporate name. Here's my trust. Here's how much is in my trust. That everybody in this country would be millionaires if that was true. Well, it's not. And then it says, in conclusion, with defendant B. Smith, Marcus J. Jones, and they go back through everybody they called out. There's that crappy little fake tracker flag that they think with the intent of denationalizing and kidnapping. Well, one, it's not kidnapping. You're being arrested. That's what's going on. You broke the law. You're being arrested. You didn't want to show up to court and do it lawfully. So now the judge has pulled a warrant on you to arrest you and bring you in to court. With that, there is no denationalization because you never renounced your U.S. citizenship to begin with. Hold on 1 second. Where'd it go? There it is. Hold on 1 second, please. All right. Sorry about that. Just talking to the kiddos. So again, he's still a U.S. citizen. So he never really truly denounced his U.S. citizenship. They go in there, hearing plaintiff or judgment creditor, which he has no credit, so he's not worth anything. In order to holding him hostage, he was not held hostage, and it wasn't for profit. He was arrested. He had a bond set to bond him out of jail if they wanted to. And again, this whole 14th Amendment citizen. And then they go on, as a result, the armed persons acting as policemen. So the actual police officers, the Leos, for the county, came out and they searched for him and they found him. And there was no treaty rights at all because, again, the treaty doesn't pertain to him. I will gladly take any of these Mopes one-on-one on this to discuss this treaty. Nowhere in this treaty does it say you get to break our laws and then not have to stand the consequences. It actually says that if you break our laws, you are held to the full extent of the laws of this country. That's what it states. That's what that treaty states. It doesn't say you get out of them. And no treaty rights were violated because you don't belong to the Kingdom of Morocco. You're not a Moroccan citizen. You don't have access to the Consular of Morocco. And that's the thing. You're not indigenous. You're not Aboriginal. You're not a Moroccan. You're a U.S. citizen. You broke the law. and now you're going to jail for it. So that's how that works. So with that, they go on and says treaty rights to consular jurisdiction, which there is none, and to be free from being made a prize of any citizen of America. Well, he was never made a prize. He was put in jail because he broke the law. And then it goes on, which are guaranteed to be secure on Article 6 and 20 of the again, there's the treaty. They like calling that treaty, but they don't understand it. And again, I think these are templates. And they just change little parts, like maybe some dates, some names, things like that. But the treaty doesn't pertain here, and neither does Colvrat versus Oregon. That does not pertain here as well, but a state cannot refuse to give foreign nationals their treaty rights because of fear that the valid international agreements may possibly not work completely in the satisfaction of the state authorities. Well, that'd be great if he was actually a Moroccan citizen, but he's not. He's a U.S. citizen. He's a U.S. national, if you want to look at it. I mean, he was born here in the United States of America. He's got an actual birth certificate. He's got a social security number. And guess what? He never renounced that citizenship. That's what they forget to tell you. They never renounced their U.S. citizenship because they know they can't go stand over in West Africa or over in Morocco and claim that as their home because they're not Moroccan citizens. So again, more fictitious wording and documents, okay? They go on to say on February 9th, 2021, the plaintiff, Mr. Butler L., filed the records of this Moroccan consular court at the Maryland State Republic. Okay, first off, none of that exists. Also, it's not an affidavit, it's a motion. That's what they are. It's a motion of fact. And then that writ of quato warranto that I went over before, more of that fictitious paperwork, that's what it is. And he said it goes on, dated February 9th, 2021, which challenged the jurisdiction. Blah, blah, blah. And so, again, they try to challenge jurisdiction. However, you went and you filed this in the court, which means they have jurisdiction over you. Pretty simple. And then he lists out the people again in the jurisdiction of the third party, Pachicho Sundaranjan, also known as Sundar Pichai, acting as chief executive officer of the foreign corporate entity Google. So what happened here, and you'll see this, I believe, in this documentation, is they sent a warrant to Google to seize his email account, lock him out so they could pull the records and look at his email account, and he couldn't change anything because he had more of this paperwork, more of this propaganda, all of this. So they seized his Google account, which the police are allowed to do. You have to do it with a subpoena or a warrant to get that information, and they followed the proper procedures, and they got that information from Google. It's not unlawful. It's perfectly lawful for them to do it. The warrant was a legit warrant, and I like this thing here. It's got to be an Article 3 court of competent jurisdiction along with all the alleged supporting written accusations signed under oath or affirmation by an alleged injured party. Okay, they always like using injured party. Well, guess what? In law, you don't have to have a physical injured party. You don't have to have that. Produced a record as evidence of jurisdiction and lawful authorization for the release of private and personal information to the Google email account. Now, let me explain something to you. Google is not private, okay? You may think it is private because you got a password, but you're using somebody else's house, per se, when you go to Google, Hotmail, Yahoo, any of those free email services. If you read the fine print, you will see that email account doesn't actually belong to you. It still belongs to Google. They maintain it. They pay for it. You are just there using their service for free. Now, at any given time, because I know I pay for Google storage, I use Google Drive, and I pay for some of the extra bonuses with my email to have greater storage because of files and such. This right here, you do not have any ownership of that account. You actually have no rights to that account. When you go and you set up your Gmail account, read the fine print. You can download the terms and services from Google and read them when it comes to their email accounts. They have full access into that. And if it's needed, all they need to do, all a law enforcement agency needs to do is get a warrant from a judge to subpoena those court records. That's all they need to do. Let's see. Of the plaintiff in accordance with Article 3, Section 2. Again, there's nothing in there. There was no illegal search and seizure. This was all legal. And then they're going to talk about the Constitution for the United States of North America. No, ours is the Constitution of the United States of America, not for. Again, the motion of fact of the writ of quota warrant was issued as a response to the email titled, and that was the email title right there, notification from Google dated February 3rd, 2021, and attached spurious unsigned instrument titled Search and Seizure Warrant in Montgomery County, Maryland, which is well up their alley. I'm a little lost on that, Montgomery. Fill me in a little bit, buddy. So with that, the warrant, the search and seizure warrant, was completely legal, and they Google got a copy, and so did the plaintiff. And then on or about February 19, 2021, the motion of fact, the writ of quota warranto, was received by the defendant, which again, they're going to call them defendants in this thing, at their address via the United States Postmaster Certified Mail. So see, they're using our government services. There was no response from the defendants, which constitute default. That's not true. The reason why you did not get a response is because probably what happened, they were rolling on the floor first off. You probably didn't scare any of these because being in your standard Mopes self, you're like, oh, I'm going to file a lien. I'm going to file liens on all of you. And you're going to be owing me millions and millions of dollars. This will get thrown out. And so they already knew what you were going to do, and they know it doesn't work because I'm sure you've been researched a couple times in that county. But silence or no response does not constitute default. Okay. Furthermore, in the records of docket number, the plaintiff proved by conclusive evidence that the foreign district court, they're not foreign, the district court for Montgomery County lacks jurisdiction. And, well, they don't lack jurisdiction. Again, we're going to go back to this. You filed this paperwork in their court, this motion. You showed up to court. They filed for the warrant. They got what they needed. So they have jurisdiction. It doesn't matter if he's in Article 3 court of competent jurisdiction because the judge and the court is of competent jurisdiction. And it wasn't dismissed. So that docket number, that case number was not dismissed at all. Now, they like to think it was dismissed because, again, remember his title. He thinks he's some counselor general. Well, he's not. He has no power. He's none at all. So the case was not thrown out. It was not dismissed with prejudice for lack of jurisdiction and fraud on or about. None of that was done. None of the stuff was thrown out. Now, what is funny is I have gone back through and looked at the record where they try to claim this case was dismissed. There is a very long explanation in there, and I'll have to find that paperwork and show it to you guys. But it's interesting. Now, here's the order and adjudged that a judgment by default be and the same is hereby entered against. He lists everybody out. Again, it is further ordered that this misrepresentation instrument, bill of attainder, foreign bill of exchange, as the warrant, it wasn't against a fictitious person. See, this is how I destroy this stuff. I just go through it and I read between the lines. I'm like, nope, and nope. It was filed on that court number, and it was fully 100% legal, signed by a judge. They come out and they try to say it was unconstitutional, notwithstanding null and void, and they try to say it's unenforceable. All that is false. It is further ordered that the conclusive action and proceedings taken under color of law for this case in the records of the foreign, again, it's not foreign, it is a legal jurisdiction court in the county of Montgomery. None of that is null and void, and there is plenty of jurisdiction, and there is no fraud. They go on to say that further with dismissed with the prejudice for lack of jurisdiction and fraud. Now, here we go. It is further ordered, and now this is what's funny because guess what? None of this has been paid. The judgment creditor is hereby awarded. Now, this is his buddy who has decided to write this out and make this judgment himself. Okay, this is what he thinks is going to happen. And again, I have to wonder how brainwashed these people actually are to believe this. So he gets a judgment, is hereby awarded 10 million in lawful money of 0.99 silver bullion coins or bars, which aren't going to happen. And that was for monetary damages, which there were 0. And then again, saying 20 million in the same for punitive damages, which shall be forthwith recovered from the judgment debtors jointly. Well, guess what? Nobody's paying you. Okay. You see these outlandish claims. They're trying to get silver and gold coins, and they're trying to, they talk about us being greedy, but they don't look at their greed and their lies. So I'm going to 100% guarantee this. Matter of fact, I'm going to extend that 110%. Nobody's paying this. Okay. And then they order that a judgment lien, now here we go, be and the same is hereby entered against the oath of office, surety bonds, and the property and assets of the judgment debtors jointly, and their spouses, and their heirs, and their successors and assigns, including but not limited to any and all automobile, boats, aircraft, real estate, real property, inheritance, personal property, common property, community property, intellectual property, and corporate property. Well, none of that will happen at all. The lien they're going to file is going to be fictitious. No actual judge would ever file that, ever. Incorporated property, bank accounts, future earnings, wages, pensions, in order to secure the performance and payment of this judgment, and to levy upon such property assets for the satisfaction of this judgment if payment cannot be made within 30 days from the entry date of this judgment. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I did a little research and I pushed out an email to this judge and these people and asked and said, hey, were any of you enticed to pay any of the $30 million in silver? Stay tuned for a part 3 or a part 2 to this video of the email responses back from the individuals that were called out for this. Quite interesting. Further ordered that the judgment debtors forfeit all of their rights. So what he's telling them now is now you're going to forfeit all your rights and your rights to property to the judgment creditor under the organic 13th Amendment, Section 12 of the Constitution for the United States. Okay, that doesn't exist. 30 days after the entry date of this judgment. So basically what he's saying is you're going to forfeit all your rights. Well, I'm going to guarantee you none of them did that either. Done and ordered, again, none of this is even exist except this. We exist, the country of North America, Canada, us, and Mexico. Then again, their little affidavit. Okay, so here we go. I declare and affirm by virtue of divine law, that's not the law we follow. Under the Zodiac Constitution, nobody follows the Zodiac Constitution. And upon the Constitution for the United States Republic of North America, we don't use this. This is theirs, okay? This is something that they found, a very old document that they like to use. This was used before we put our actual Bill of Rights, the current Constitution of the United States, into place, okay? So we don't even use this, but they pull it out from somewhere thinking this still prevails, and it doesn't. And upon the honor of the foremothers and forefathers, that the foregoing default judgment affidavit is true and correct. Well, guess what? See this guy right here? He's got a rap sheet a mile long. A lot of fraud, a lot of driving with improper registration, no insurance, no driver's license, fake ID, which is that fake Mormish Moop ID card that is not recognized anywhere. Also, this right here is being looked at by the Moroccan embassy right now. They want to know, and I've been following this, and I'll have to post the links, but they want to know what can be done about these people claiming that they're part of the Moroccan consular court, which they are not. And there is no consular court in the state of Maryland. There is only 2 courts, consular courts. There's one in New York City, and there's one in Washington, D.C., and they're not courts necessarily. They're just consulars, and you can get consular services if you break the law or you're arrested or something. They tell you to call the consulate as soon as possible, That way they can come and help you. They're not going to allow you to circumvent the laws, though, but they're going to help you understand the laws of the country that you just broke. We've always noticed every single one of them is a P.O. box. None of them have a legit physical permanent address because, again, they're not legit. And then here we go. This is their motion of fact for certification of service, just saying that this guy right here, which if you take the bay off, you can find this dude. Like I said, he's got a criminal record a mile long. With the bay, it is his alias. He's got several of them. So he's going to certify that on the 12th of April. And closed again is the motion of fact for the default judgment, which nobody paid and no liens did anything. And then here's the person. And then what they do is they'll put the zip code there and they'll put near. Well, what's happening now is post offices, when they see this or they see this, they kick it back because that's not an address. That's not an actual official address with the U.S. Postal Service. So now what they're doing is they're starting to kick this back or tell them, say, hey, you got to take Republic out of there and this out of here because this is the actual zip code. We don't put our zip codes in brackets. And then, like I said, he lists them all out. And then this is what's funny. He sent a copy to the Secretary of State. He sent a copy to the Attorney General. He sent a copy to the U.S. Secretary of State. He then sent a copy to the Hague, which honestly, I think they're rolling in this. They sent it to Interpol. My next stop is going to be to write this guy right here because I want to know what his thought process is on this. I want to know what files they have on these Mopes. And I really want to be able to get my hands on this because I want to read what has been sent to them. I want to read what they've investigated so far. I'm really interested, and I want to share it with you as well because I think I really wonder if these guys just laugh at it and are like, you know what, this is ridiculous. What is funny about this is they list them out, but they don't list out the addresses like they list here. So they list this out, and what I'm actually going to do now that I'm thinking about this is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write this out and email this individual. And let's see, what is his Hughes? And then whatever I get, I will share with the community. And, like I said, I'll explain, what we're doing, how we're trying to, help bring closure to these people for doing what they're doing. And this right here is what's called a default judgment lien. So, and they have several. So here's that one. This was a default judgment lien made domestic on April 12th, 2021. Again, on the same case, we've gone through this one before. This is the big one, 29 pages. Yes, I am digging deep on this because what my overall goal is I want major departments within this country, embassies and stuff, Interpol, to look at us as a collective group of investigators that say, hey, these guys and gals that do this are nothing more than paper terrorists. They're trying to run a de facto government themselves inside the United States. They're all U.S. citizens. Everything they're doing is under Code 18, USC Code 18. And if you go down through it, what they're doing is, one, they're impersonating public officials, which is a Fed and a state. They're inciting violence. They're recruiting people to stand against the United States. So again, this stuff is getting more and more to the point where we really have to fight them tooth and nail. And the best way to fight them is go to these people in these organizations and say, hey, I think the best thing to do is start at your, at your city level for impersonating a public official, fraudulent liens, make these laws, put them into effect. And then once we see them in effect in these areas, go to the state level and say, hey, there's an issue here in the state of Maryland with these people, and you need to have laws. Well, the state of Maryland does. I've seen the docket log and the warrant for this guy for what he did. And so they do have a law, but not all states do. And the states that are really prominent right now with them are Maryland, Michigan, down here in the South, Alabama, Georgia. There's a group of them in North Carolina. They're big on the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California. And what needs to happen is not only with new laws being put in place, but police officers not playing the game. Also Illinois, Chicago's got a huge contingency of them. Not playing the game with them. That will make all the difference. And if that happens, then you can shut them down. That's the great thing about it. When they try to say, oh, I'm a foreign national, no, you're not. Don't play that game with me. Just go ahead, show me your ID. If you don't have it, then here's what we're going to do. If you don't want to give me your information, we're going to arrest you right now. We're going to take you downtown. We're going to ID you that way. And then we're going to tow the car. It's going to be put in impound, and you're not going to be able to get it out until you show us proper registration with plates and proper current insurance, and that you actually have a state driver's license, or the person getting it out has a current state driver's license. That's what needs to happen. The other thing that needs to happen is the fines need to increase. Really hit them hard. They talk about they have all this money, or it's in your straw man account. Well, prove to me that you have it now, because now instead of a $200 fine, I'm going to hit you with a $1,500 fine to get your car out, on top of these other things that you need to prove. And if you don't get it out in 30 days, we take it to auction. If it doesn't sell at auction, we take it to the auto shop and sell it or to the junkyard and sell it to scrap. That's what we do. You didn't claim your property within 30 days. That's not our fault. You don't have the money. We crush it. We get the money for scrap. And I think, and that might sound, I apologize, sound a little harsh, but as long as we're harsh to them, this shit will stop. As long as we stop playing in and pandering to, well, you work for me, I'm a Moroccan national, and we don't play into it, well, that'll help. The other thing that'll help is getting tighter laws on recording in public places or public buildings. You watch the frauditors, the First Amendment wannabe auditors, where they think they're saving our rights when they're actually not doing anything but harassing people under the skies of protecting the First Amendment. And I think there is, I wrote one county who was just getting hammered, and I've actually gotten some replies back, and they're strengthening things such as there are signs everywhere in all their public buildings that states, especially before you come in the door, that if you do not have a scheduled appointment, you don't come in the building. There are no same day appointments, and they have literally cut the whole First Amendment frauditor things down by 75%, because now they have a younger guy. There's no personal conveyance auctions. That's good. I like that. That might be one of my new little bars across the bottom of my screen. There are no personal conveyance auctions. That'd make a great t-shirt, Truth. That would make a great t-shirt. But that's what it comes down to. And instead of having these older police officers, they actually have younger guys there with full loadouts on, their normal police vests and stuff and equipment that they use. And what it's doing is these younger guys aren't playing around. They're like, no, you don't have an appointment. Get out. If you want to record, stand right out here at these. You got to come off this sidewalk. You got to go right here. This is the public area. And they are starting to really get them because now it's not a young kid or a younger male trying to, push an older gentleman and play the game. These young guys aren't playing the game anymore. And that's what needs to happen. The more cars we tow, the more of them we put in jail and keep hitting them with fines. Sooner or later, just like the video you have, Truth, of that one gentleman who was a Moor, and he's just going off on him. He's absolutely right. It's a waste of money. You're not making your own paper. You're paying other people to make money off of you. And so it's the same regards. These guys aren't coming to save you. Okay. This, I'll tell you right now, this enforcetheconstitution.org, these guys that you see on my page right here, they're con artists, they're scam artists, they're liars. Nowhere in here has anybody gotten paid anything, but they think if we show it, well, we won. Well, no, you didn't. Just like the quick little video I made earlier discussing, on here, it said the case was dismissed and it was due to lack of jurisdiction, and it wasn't. What happened was the alias was incorrect for the service documents to serve them to come to court. I called the law firm up. I talked to the lawyer that's in charge of that case, and he told me, he's like, no, we have to fill this out because the alias was incorrect. We have to fill it out how the court wants us to fill it out, and then it's going right back out. We'll be back in court this month. So again, that particular date was dismissed, but the case was not dismissed. So again, it's the fictitious rounds, it's the lying, it's, they're con artists, they're scam artists, and they get people in their minds. They see that one thing and they think they won, and they actually didn't. I challenge any moop that's out there that truly believes that they have been paid. I want you to email this group right here. They have an email. Matter of fact, let's check out their page. Here it is. This is what I want to show you guys. So this right here, to bro Keith L. So they call Keith L. They didn't space it. It's Keith L. Bay. Moorish American national Keith L. Bay stops unlawful eviction under color of law with the assistance of the Office of the Consular General. Proves lack of jurisdiction and fraud. Now, that's not what happened. Okay? Not at all. It's what they circled and wrote. And I'll show you this here in a minute. I was waiting for this to pop back up. And then we'll show you right here. It says, click the link below and bear witness to the public records of yet another Moorish American saving his estate. One, he did it. He's still evicted. He still owes money. And the attorney I talked to, like I said, really awesome guy, really stands behind what we're doing. And he said to me, he goes, as soon as the case is completely done and over, he told me he has no problem coming on my channel and talking about this case and what exactly transpired and happened. And he has no problem getting the whole entire case file for me. So that way we can look through the case file and we can see when this started, what it was actually for, and all the way through. Basically, what I'm thinking it's for is this guy tried to squat in a house and they had to evict him out legally. They had to go through the courts to do it. So that's what was done. But here, let's take a look at this. So we're going to learn more. So here it is. This is not a case summary. This is the list of court cases that have happened. Okay. So here's the court number. I'm actually going to submit this out and try to get the beginning portions, like the opening filings of the court case. So here it is, quote unquote, default judgment and writ of error. There was an error, yes, but it got fixed. The judge told him how to fill it out and it's going back out. So here it is right here. All right, this is the gentleman who is the plaintiff. There's his law firm. And what they put is they show it was dismissed, but it's not the entire case number. Okay, this was filed back on the 30th of November, 2021. It's just this date right here. This was the only thing that was canceled for today. They're not done. They are not done at all on this. So he writes, per affidavit of fact, default judgment. There was no judgment made. When I asked the attorney about this, He said all it was the summons needed to be filled out correctly because the alias for the business was wrong. Not a problem. And I said, so let me ask you this. Is the case dismissed, like not going back to court, like he got away? He goes, no, we're going to fix it, and it's going back out. I guarantee you, I called them when I saw this at like 3:45 this afternoon. I saw this, and I called him and talked to him directly. Again, they circled this in red, and he said, void proceeding per affidavit of fact, writ of error, Exhibit C, case dismissed with prejudice for lack of jurisdiction. Actually, let's come down here. Further case information. Vacate equals bad service on alias. Cannot post at business address. Okay? They can't post the service at the business address. That's what this is all about. So what they're going to do, again, make sure the alias is right, find the actual living address, and that's where they need to serve him. They can't serve him at a business. So the case was never dismissed like they want you to believe. Here we go right here. The writ entered on the record for enforcement. Okay? And I'm guaranteeing you this is a 4-page one, so this one ain't so bad. So again, we're going to go through the same thing. And these are the people I'm going to reach out to. Yes, truth. I dig deep on these people. I'm not playing around. I'm looking at criminal records. I'm looking at everything. This, to me, the deeper I can dig on these to put together a packet of information and send these to people higher up, maybe the FBI, maybe the state prosecuting attorney, the state DA, the state attorney general, get this in front of them. This is something for them to look at and start investigating because they're going to look a little further. Or if I do the research for them and say, hey, according to your state ordinances, they're in violation of this, and this. And there's more than just one. So some of these guys looking at cleaning these up, I also provide the DHS report on terrorism. They are known as a domestic terrorist. By definition, they're domestic terrorists. So again, I point that out. I put a copy of that report in there. Yes, I am the one that if you want some information, give me a little bit of time. I will dig deep on that, on whatever you're looking for this type of stuff, and I will find it. 99% of these guys have a rap sheet a mile long, so it's very easy as long as I know the county, the state, the court case number. I got to have that case number because that's what I'm able to send to these clerks and say, hey, what's the cost for me to get a copy, the complete copy right now of the case file? If the case is not over, that's fine. But if I can get a copy of what's in there right now, that would be perfect. And so that's what I go for. That's what I do. So we have the case number. It looks like he's going to go after this administrative clerk. And then he's going to try to go after the attorneys. Well, that's going to be really, really stupid because these attorneys will hang them out to dry. Again, here we go. A summons for unlawful detainer. Again, this looks very much like a, cut and paste, a template that's already built. They just changed this out. Maybe, this is probably already in there. Again, remember, this is false. This is not an international document. So we'll go in. Here's page 2 of 4. He goes, I am in receipt of your misrepresent instrument, bill of attainder, titled Summons for Unlawful Detainer. However, your instrument was issued under color law with purview of the unconstitutional 14th Amendment. See, it doesn't work for them. They don't know how to use it. So they turn around and they put this kind of stuff in there thinking they're gonna fool a lawyer. Okay? Let me tell you something. Some of these lawyers that deal with this, excuse me, are not stupid by any stretch of the imagination. And they will sit here and they will investigate this so deep that they'll, I want to say it's Beverly Hills Cop 3 maybe, where Bogermilk gets shot. And he goes to this bonded warehouse and he goes, if you don't get me what I need, I'm going to have a group of agents down here so fast, they're going to shove a microscope up your ass and tell me what you had for lunch 2 weeks ago. And so that's kind of where we're going with this. These attorneys aren't stupid. So anyways, they go on to say here, amend due to your failure to prove jurisdiction. Again, you filed this. You showed up in court. They have jurisdiction. The summons for unlawful detainer. And then again, they post some more court cases. They cherry pick those to their liking. And now here we go. Wherefore, it is considered ordered and adjudged that a writ of error be, excuse me, and the same hereby entered against you. They call out the administrative clerk. They call out the lawyers, which ain't going to happen. And the lawyer was Sang K Park. And all other persons similarly situated that are involved and are not here enlisted. It is it is further ordered and adjourned that the misrepresented instrument, and it goes through it again, it be null and void. Well, that ain't going to happen because it is forcible and it's not null and void. There's the case number, and it was in Fairfax County General District Court. And so, hello. And then again, they just keep on with it's unenforceable, it's null and void. Well, it's not. Again, here's this fake stuff right there. Let's go to page 3. Now, here's their neat little signature, nothing special. Now, here's where it gets fun. So the offense, which is Keith L. Bay de jure, again, just, and then what's funny is now, remember, now there's a Keith Lamont Green. So this is great. This is what I love because they're just this dumb. This information is vital for me because now when I go to do his background check, that's what I'm pulling, his actual legal name. I also have his address. This is his actual address, or this is a post office. So, you know, I'm curious, and I'll show you guys here. We're looking for 1606 Washington Plaza. Let's see here. North Reston, VA. So what this is, and I'll show you guys here in a second. This looks like an office building. This is that address. This looks very much like an office building, an office park. Just by looking at that, that does not look like an apartment. That looks like an office park of some sort. And this is, you know, we want 1606 Plaza, which is right here. So, that's what you're looking at. And it looks like, yeah, there's a barber shop there. There's a lawyer's office there. So again, we see that they are probably somebody they know has a dry cleaner or something in this office plaza. So that's what they're going to send it for. Again, here's their crap where they bring up the Zodiac Constitution, the United States Republic Constitution, which we don't use it. It doesn't exist. And then page 4, this is their exhibit. Again, they're going to call out the two individuals. They're going to try to go after the lawyer, which won't work for them, and an administrator. And then here we go. We're going to send it to 24994 Glasgow Heights, Terrence. Something tells me this is where this individual lives, and this is the property. Actually, I'm sorry. The business is the address there. So that address is for where this business was, that this gentleman right here, I'm guessing he owns that whole entire office building. And so his job is when people don't pay the rent, time to head on out. So, and again, here we go again. We're going to send it to the Secretary of State. We're going to send it to the United States Attorney General. We're going to send it to the Hague. And then we're going to send it to the embassies and consulates of the international community and other interested persons and the office of the Consul General of Morocco. I'm guaranteeing you that the actual counselor of Morocco, Consul of Morocco, is not even looking at that thing. I can guarantee it. So again, these people are hilarious in what they believe, and now you see, once you see it, it disappears for a little bit. Again, Morocco Consular Court at Charles County, Maryland. No, you didn't do anything. Nothing happened. Again, True Science. I love your article on there about the Fez and being the headwear of their oppressor, and that again, they're so lacking in any of their knowledge and their history of what they're trying to claim, that they're that blind. And then here we go. Here's a fake badge on one of them. I'm sure he's a attorney general marshal of some sort. We love those guys. So here was this order of release for Lamont. Basically, what took place in reading this. Let me see if I actually have it. This is actually really good. And this state trooper, she deserves a raise because every time they try to open their mouth, she shuts them down. She has I believe she said she has a master's degree, and her formal study is in constitutional law, and she was shutting them down. Now, this guy with his bulletproof vest on that he probably bought at a surplus store and his fake badge, he tries to say he's a consular general, and yeah. So I've seen that video. It's actually really good. She shuts them down. They take away 2 cars. So it was great. But, hey, that, discussing the liens that they like to use and such, they get them nowhere. They, once it's found that you filed your fictitious lien, then what happens is they come after you. They go after you to file the state charges of filing fictitious paperwork and fictitious liens against people, and knowing that it's a fictitious lien, it doesn't work, but they're paper terrorists, and again, it's been proven time and time again that these individuals, these Mopes, don't get paid. They don't know what they're selling. There's a small group of them, like Dhs Report. She is such a scam artist. She is so good at what she does that people believe her. I could stand right in front of somebody and say, look, everything she says is a lie. I got proof. Here you go. I got mounds of it. She is so good that she'll convince that person that I'm wrong and she's right. And these people believe it. And what's funny is, here's something that's hilarious that I want to show you real quick. We talk about them making money. Well, here we go. I'm going to show you something. Ooh, I don't know why it's doing that, but here's their recording services, right? They say it's going to be documented in records of the Morocco Consular Court. Well, it's not going to Morocco, so no one will know. No one's going to see it. And then here we go, recording services, plus shipping. They have another recording services down here. Service 3, to have your nationalization documents published on our website for 4 weeks as a public notice and receive a certification letter regarding the publication. Well, that's great, but nobody's going to your website to see somebody's Moorish fake ID card. Jamal's cult followers, yes. Nobody's going to see this stuff because, again, it's not being filed in the right place. It's no different than this new group, these United States nationals, or whatever they're calling them still, for state nationals or state citizens, whatever. They file under the land and soil jurisdiction, or soil and land jurisdiction, and it's not a government entity or anything. It's literally a wide open, unsecured database that I can search in all day long. And it is hilarious. It is one of the funniest things. Yep. The delirium dollars. That's funny too, because see, you're supposed to sign your name to it as the creditor so you can pay it, but yet they're not even worth the ink and paper that they're printed on to begin with. I want to see, because again, Truth did a great video on it, and I actually went in and I read it, and it was just hilarious. You know, it was hilarious. It made me cringe and laugh at the same time. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me if you believe this stuff, you know? But these people, and I have photocopies of some of the records, actually print offs. I mean, picture, full name, address where you live. You know, these people have they're trying to do these things called a baby deed, which Truth did a great video on it. You know, you cannot, or not Truth, I'm sorry. Van did a great video on it. You cannot own another person. That amounts to slavery. So you can't file a deed to own your child. And then they went on that little thing. Well, yeah, her birth certificate, when you do a birth certificate, you sign them over to the state. No, you don't. When you sign your birth certificate for your child, you're signing it as the mother and father, as the parents of your child. You're not signing anything over. Trust me, the state does not want to be the warden of your kids. They don't. They have enough to worry about. And adding kids to their ledger is something they don't need. There's no corporate entity filed under your kids' name. There's no straw man. The birth certificate is not registration for the state or the federal government. All that is bullshit and fake. And so, like I said, I'm here to do this. I enjoy doing this. I just appreciate you guys who show up and listen to me ramble on. I appreciate the kudos in the videos and the comments. And the videos are just going to get more and more in depth. The next thing is, you saw my video on Mr. Killeran. We have a thing called the Zanesville Files out on the YouTube page. That's what our playlist, and that's where we're going to be putting this stuff. On this particular lien, this is going to go under Lamont's playlist. But we're going to be doing more and more videos with this. You know, I collect the research. Anything you want to send me, I'll research it further. But you know what? I love you guys showing up and being part of this channel. I know my channel is very new. And I just appreciate everything you guys are doing. So, oh, well, obviously it's not going. Obviously, 230 people learned that printed fake money doesn't work. But no, I thank you guys and really appreciate you guys being part of this site. Probably in the next week or so, maybe a little longer, we're going to start designing some t-shirts, hoodies, things like that. We're going to do some decals to help support the channel. So I want to get a better camera and a better mount system for my monitors so I can put them up on the wall. But you see these, neat little graphics here. My branding. So we're going to do a bunch of t-shirts with different ones on them. We're going to do a shirt that just says, Doc's taking on the Moors, welcome to the clinic, type thing. And again, if one thing we want to do for everybody that buys a shirt from us when we release them or when we get them out for pre-order is we want to take your Facebook or your YouTube name when you talk to us. And, you know, like True Science 151, you know, we put that, across the back of his shirt, thanking him for the support, or we put it across the front. But again, I thank all you guys who show up and watch my stream and listen to me and stuff. So again, I appreciate it. That's all I have for this one. I'll be scheduling a few more broadcasts. I'll probably have another one ready to go on Sunday. And again, I just appreciate everything you guys do. Make sure you like, sub, and share. Click that little bell icon in YouTube so you'll be aware when new videos hit the page, because we're going to get more out there. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. And this group right here, this enforcetheconstitution.org, we're going to be following them really heavily. I'm going to start making some contacts out in Maryland, especially in these counties that deal with these individuals. And yeah, kudos to Swindle. He is a, you know, I've watched a lot of his videos, and I love what he does. So yeah, definitely keep up the good work there. Again, though, this group right here, I think I'm going to start making some contacts up in Maryland with the state attorneys generals, maybe the state prosecutor, and I'm going to look into these counties where these cases are held and start requesting these docket numbers and case files and anything to do with these individuals. This is what I'm looking for, because again, the deeper we dig on this, the more information we can get. It makes it easier for me to send information up to the higher ups and say, hey, look, you know, this is the laws they're breaking. Why aren't you going after them? You know, we got to make a statement that this stuff doesn't stand in this country. You got to follow the rules. You may not like them, but you got to follow them. And if you want to change them, there are legal ways to go about changing them, not, you know, putting other people's lives in danger. So again, I appreciate everybody. This is Doc for Doc Taking on the Mormons. You have been at the clinic, and it's time to close it up for the day. I appreciate everything. And Doc is out.